Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. This week we're going to learn about how we can use Barry Harris's minor 6 diminished scale to play some unique and interesting lines on the minor blues. First, I'll show you guys some exercises that you should practice to really get the scale comfortable in your hands. Then we'll learn a scale outline over the minor blues that's going to help you understand how to stick close to the chord changes. Finally, we'll use some of the ideas from the exercises combined with the scale outline and things we've learned here in the past, like pivots and half-step rules, to play an etude over a chorus of minor blues. You guys ready? Let's get into it. Just like with the major 6 diminished concept, this scale is derived from 2 chords, the C minor 6 and B diminished. By laying out the notes contained in those chords, we get a scale that sounds like this. Now, the cool thing about all of these Barry Harris scales is that they contain alternating inversions of the tonic chord, in this case that's the C minor 6, and it's dominant in the form of a diminished 7th. If you've seen my video on comping, then you know this is super powerful for improving our approach to playing chord accompaniments. In a similar way, we can use this concept to play single note lines over chord changes. To do this, we really need to get the scale firmly in our hands. To help you guys with that, I prepared some exercises that I think you should practice to help you start incorporating the scale into your playing. First, we're going to play the chords contained in the scale as single notes. We can also do the same thing with the triads of those same chords. Because we're playing 3-note cells against 4/4, it creates some really cool syncopation. Check out that exercise now. If we put a chromatic approach before each triad, we get even more melodic possibilities while retaining some of that syncopated feel. For today's last exercise, I think it's really important that we practice chromatic enclosures using the scale. Here's a great exercise for you guys to practice moving through the scale with a chromatic enclosure around each note. Up next, I'll show you guys a scale outline for the minor blues that makes use of the minor 6 diminished scale. Before we do that though, I just want to give a quick shout out to TrueFire.com for helping to support the channel. TrueFire is an online lesson library that's host to literally thousands of courses on a wide range of musical topics from some really amazing artists and educators. With synced notation and tablature, as well as slowdown and looping features, it's super easy to follow along no matter what course you decide to pick up. While you wait for my courses to drop, you can use my link in the description or use offer code STUDIO for 35% off at checkout. And you'll also be supporting the channel at the same time. It's never been a better time to learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Now let's get back to the lesson and check out that scale outline. Before we get to applying all this stuff to a minor blues, we should first learn a quick scale outline. I've shown you guys this approach before in my video on how to practice jazz standards, and it's a super useful thing to work out when we're first learning a form or a set of changes. For forms like the minor blues, there's lots of variations and approaches to playing the changes. I'll take you through the way that I like to play the form first, and then we'll explain the scale outline. Then we'll see how it all comes together over the chord changes when played in time with the bass and drums. Now let's check out how we can apply some scales to this form in a way that makes them sound really inside the changes. Over the 1 chord, I'll play C minor 6 diminished up to the 6th. In bar 2, we get this 2-5 back to the 1, so I'll just play the scale for the dominant. Now, the scale I'm using here is G Phrygian dominant, and I'll play it descending from the flat 9 to the 3rd, so more of a super Locrian sound, but it's all the same in the end. To the 1 chord, it's back to C minor 6 diminished. Over the 2-5 that goes to 4, I'll do the same thing I did for the previous 2-5 and play the scale for the dominant, descending from the flat 9 to the 3rd. Then we get 2 bars of the 4 chord, so I'll play F minor 6 diminished, ascending to the 6, and then descending to the root. For the next 2 bars, we'll play F Phrygian dominant up to the 7th, and then E flat 7 up to the 7th as well. A flat 7 gets the same treatment, and we'll just play that scale without any alterations up to the 7th. This G7 flat 9 will play descending from the 7th to the root. And finally, we'll finish up by playing C minor 6 up to the 6, and then our G7 flat 9 scale descending from flat 9 to the 3rd again. Here's what that all sounds like when played in time with the bass and drums. Next up, we'll use everything we've learned today as a framework and play an etude over the changes that can give you an idea of some melodic and phrasing options we can play over the minor blues. To get the most out of an etude like this, I think the first step is obviously to learn the whole thing, and then you should try taking it through the other keys before picking out some phrases that you like best. Along the way, you're going to be learning a lot about not just using the minor 6 diminished scale in your solos, but how to effectively play over the minor blues in general. Take a listen to what the etude sounds like now. Thanks so much for hanging around all the way to the end of today's video. Make sure you let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of the lesson. I hope I've been able to give you a better understanding of how you can make use of the minor 6 diminished scale in your solos. As always, if you did find today's lesson helpful, make sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell for notifications. If you want to get access to the PDF for today's lesson, along with the whole back catalog for all the videos on my channel, you can get that over at my Patreon page for as little as $10 a month, or by just hitting that join button right here on YouTube. Studio member and higher patrons also get access to bonus videos as well. A big thank you to Ron Maestas and Louis Rosen for being studio fans. I really appreciate your support. A huge thank you is due to these awesome studio members for their support as well. PH, David Zuckerbrand, Max Irwin, Everson Armstrong, Jay Jarek, Stephen Schwartz, Aaron Walters, Stephen Prager, Edson Suarez, Artie Sanchez, Guy Theobald, Pedro Santos, Zé Soares, Todd Stupnik, Michael LeBroy, and Patrick Caron. An extra special shout out for Jazz Luminaire patrons Bob Bobbity and Bill Jacob. Thank you guys all so much for being a part of the community. I'm David Shore, and thanks again for hanging out with me at the studio today. I'll see you guys next time.